been requested that I talk about what I did to reduce my long COVID symptoms by, 90%. So my symptoms were dizziness, randomly dizziness, heart palpitations. At night, I would have stiffness and stress in my body, neuropathy, hands, feet. What else? Well, that's enough. So I had this going on for months. Extreme fatigue at one point. And I thought it was a physiological thing, but I had a few things happen to me and made me realize it was neurological. Since I went down the neurological path in terms of my treatment, if you will, my symptoms have diminished 90%. I'm able to stop them fairly consistently, actually all the time. It's an ongoing process, which is basically with the neurological thesis, what's actually happening is there's been a software malfunction in the brain. What triggered it? I don't know. I'm assuming it was COVID. And what happens, and it happens outside of this long COVID thing, where you have some sort of stressor on the body. It could be a virus. It could be an accident. If you broke your ankle or something, it could be just ongoing stress. And what it does is it throws the brain into a malfunction where it's operating in the sympathetic mode, which is the flight or fight state of being in the body. And when you are in fight or flight, this is your primitive, your lizard brain, your monkey brain, figuring you are in a dangerous situation, and thus you start having all these symptoms, these unpleasant symptoms, like the heart palpitations and so forth. So flight or fight is not supposed to be something you stick in for a while. You're supposed to only do that for a short period of time, and then you go back into the parasympathetic, kind of the relaxed, chill out state of being. So the problem with long haulers, I think, for a lot of us, if not a majority, and this is just my thinking, is that you had a COVID event, which is a very hardcore virus attack of the body. The brain malfunction, click, and it gets stuck in that flight or fight state of being. So you keep having these symptoms over time. And then because you are having these symptoms, and because you're worried, it keeps feeding into it. And essentially, you want to get out of this, you want to train your brain to know so that you're not in a dangerous situation. You're having these symptoms essentially because your brain, your primitive brain, thinks you are in a dangerous situation. In this case, with COVID people, you still have COVID. So this is a malfunction. That is the basic thinking behind it. So what do you do to get your brain out of this fight or flight state of being? How do you keep it from triggering back there all the time? By defaulting to this state. You don't want to go there. So what you do is, there's a few things. For me, I discovered it through just exercise, mild exercise in peaceful areas, in the woods, walking through parks, deep diaphragmatic breathing. This activates the calm side of your neurology, your parasympathetic. Focus control. You don't want to focus on doom and gloom. You want to keep sending messages back to your primitive brain that everything's chill. Slow breathing, deep breathing, the sigh. This is known in neurology to activate the parasympathetic system, which is the calm system. So this is all contributes to teaching your lizard and monkey brain, hey, that everything is cool. Don't worry about it. We're cool. So this is not going to necessarily happen right away because you have to train your brain that you're in the situation. So what happened to me, I was dealing with this for months, all the long COVID symptoms. One night, it was like the third or fourth night in a row where I was having a major heart palpitation, the stressors, and I was woken up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and I said, I got to do something about this. So fortunately, I had done a lot of martial arts in the back in my utes, and so In fact, for a long time. So in those days, I learned how to control my heart rate through breathing exercises. That was something I was taught. So I said, I have to control my heart rate. This is ridiculous. So I did my breathing exercises and meditations, and sure enough, it took me 20 minutes, half an hour. I brought down my heart rate to normal. And like anything else, you have to practice. I'm out of practice, so wasn't too quick at it. So then I was able to sleep. So I said to myself, that's interesting. I was able to control a symptom via meditation. Deep diaphragmic breathing, slow in through the nose, out through the mouth, relax. Notice my hand movements. See, the monkey brain and the lizard brain responds to physiology much more than what you say. So you can't say, I feel good, I feel good. Affirmations don't help too much. It's more about physicality. The brain responds to outside influences and even how you act. So having your expression on your face will send messages back to your lower brain. Your body movements, whether it's slow and relaxed or stressed out, it will send a message to your monkey brain. This is all in the science. This is not, I link to videos in the Facebook post showing all this. This is known stuff. This is not, how should I say, this is not new age stuff. This is all known in the science. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but that was my major in university, so I'm familiar with some of this stuff. Anyway, so I was able to use breathing exercises to slow my heart rate down and to calm my body down. Then I went out for long walks, and I noticed coming back from some long walks that my symptoms diminished quite a bit. That was interesting because I wasn't thinking about my symptoms. I wasn't thinking about my long COVID. I was just enjoying nature. And lo and behold, symptoms diminished quite a bit. Then one day I decided to go biking up the hill. It was like a long bike ride up a slight hill up into the woods. And I noticed within 15 minutes, all my symptoms disappeared. What I think happened was my brain was distracted, say, well, we got to pay attention to the road here. And I was deep breathing because I'm breathing going up a hill, and I was relaxed. So I get to the top of the mountain, and so it was like a half an hour, 45-minute bike ride, and I'm totally relaxed. No symptoms. First time in months, no symptoms. And so I decided I was going to lay down on a bench to see what happened, because normally when I would lay down, the whole room would shake from dizziness. I lay down on a bench, sure enough, no symptoms. So then I realized that this was something in the head, not something in the body. And what really cemented that belief is when I came home after biking, as soon as I sat down here, all of a sudden all the dizziness started happening again. So that's a learned response, right? That's Pavlov's dog. That's Skinnerian stuff. If you look that up, it's basic psychology. So anyway, I decided to go down that route, and I'll reference under this video some links to a couple of books that I got that are super helpful, and some YouTube videos. I already linked to it on Facebook, and this other post as well that really makes a big difference. One of the exercises I did, something called, I learned this in Zazen meditation, Mindfulness. And this is when you feel a symptom, let's say neuropathy in the hand or heart beating, don't try to stop it. Don't try to hide from the symptom. Don't try to soothe yourself. Just observe the symptom. Just observe the heart palpitating. Just observe it. Notice it. Observe it like Jane Goodall would observe the monkeys. Just observe it and notice it. And you'll see what this does, according to neurologists, and I linked to a video where they talk about this. It actually creates new neural pathways, and it calms down the lizard brain. So I started doing that. I had some heart palpitations, and I just started observing it. And sure enough, in time, the pain would just go. And now I've been doing this as an exercise, and I'll link to programs where they give you an outline of, a more detailed outline. My symptoms are slowly diminishing. It's pretty astounding. So this mindfulness technique was something I learned in Zazen, where I remember my teacher would say, so you're sitting in a meditation, we're doing slow diaphragmatic breathing, back straight, power pose, right? Everybody knows this. You do the power pose, tells the body, hey, I'm confident. I'm confident. You see, remember, the main theme here is you want to tell your primitive brain that you're not in a dangerous situation. Everything's cool. So I was in the power pose, Zazen, and the teacher would say, if you feel an itch on your nose or your hand or a twitch of the muscle, don't react to it. Just observe it calmly, dispassionately. Just observe it. Notice it. And sure enough, what happens is the itch, the feeling itch just goes. The pain in the leg just goes. Now, I was trained in this because I used to do martial arts, and we wanted to learn how to handle this pain. So in a combat situation, you get hit, you're not shocked by it. It's like, oh, okay, whatever, let's move. So it works. I can tell you it works for martial arts. I'm telling you it works in terms of my long COVID symptoms. I am literally down 90%. As I speak to you now, because sitting at the desk has become an associative trigger for me, because I sat at this desk too much when the symptoms were hitting me. And so now my brain kind of feels it, but I'm not nervous about it. That's a big part. You got to just be relaxed about it. Just be accepting. Just accept it. Yeah, okay, I'm not feeling good. So I've talked to other people. I had a friend of mine who had insomnia for years, and he had heart palpitations, all kinds of pains and stuff. And then when he realized that it was neurological, he just basically did the same thing. He says, you just got to let go, recognize, don't hide from the symptoms, recognize the symptoms, observe it, acknowledge it with no judgment, and amazingly, symptoms diminish. So I'll put links to the various resources that I found very easy. But in a nutshell, you want to do the mindfulness techniques. You want to be a calm observer of your symptoms. And then with no expectations, you want to do deep diaphragmatic breathing. Relax, slow, controlled, that will help. You want to focus control. You don't want to get caught up on the what ifs. Oh, it's terrible. It's just focus on positive stuff. Again, you want to send messages back to your primitive brain, your monkey brain, that you're not in a dangerous situation. And another thing is you want to activate the body through body movements that are calming. Like do the power pose, perhaps. Show, hey, I'm good. Power pose. Relax motions. Slow, relaxed motions. But again, you want to send the signal back to the body. Everything's cool. Even your facial expressions will send signals back to your body. And this is all proven in the science, by the way. Go look it up in psychology and neurology. It's all been proven. So have a little smile on your face, and you'll see your symptoms will diminish. I used to have all the pills and all the supplements. I was doing the 25 4-hour fast and the 34-hour fast. And all this was inconsistent. I even did the horse dewormer stuff, everything. And when I realized it was neurological, I had to get out of my environment all these things that were reminding me of the illness. So I took all my pills and all my supplements, and I just put it into a cupboard and hid them. They were all displayed on my countertop, so whenever I walked by, I would see all this stuff, and I'd be sending a signal back to my brain, hey, you're sick, you're sick. That's the worst thing you can do. Anyway, I hope this helps. Links are below. Do what you will with this.